Are there some early warning signs that you have seen in your years working in the juvenile justice that a child might end up in juvie or the corrections track?
So I like the word that you use, the word might, because nothing is clear cut.
Yeah.
All of us have the ability to make choices that will change our life and the way we move through life. I think with kids, things like anger issues, acting out in violent manners are things that we should watch for. And also kids that are showing an extreme amount of depression and sadness sometimes, they'll act out. And in a manner, maybe not to the extreme violent crimes, but they might do things to try to fit in with other kids. So using drugs, stealing, things that are misdemeanors, but might lead them down that path that we don't necessarily want them to go. It's the might again.
Yeah. So what practical ways are there for family members and concerned friends to keep someone from becoming a part of the juvenile justice system if you're seeing that violent behavior or anger or depression?
I think being there, being present. I think we all are kind of guilty of pulling out our phones, and you see all the commercials on TV right now about not having your phone at dinner. Mm. Those kinds of things, being present with the youth that you're concerned about, knowing that you're there for them when they need help and they need somebody to talk to. Being a constant loving presence in their life, knowing what the child needs, knowing what treatment they need to help them. And maybe it's chemical dependency treatment, maybe it's mental health treatment, but making sure they have the outlets and the needs that they have being met.
Children who are long-term foster care tend to be at a much higher rate of ending up in the justice system. What can we do for those kids?
So there's a study, and it's documented in the movie Resilience, that was done that shows that one positive adult in any youth's life can change their life and can teach them to be the human being that we all strive to be. So I think being a positive role model, whether that's reaching out through Big Brothers Big Sisters, or I met a lady this weekend who knew that the youth across the street was being watched by her aunt, and the aunt really wasn't there a lot. So she reached out and said, come be with me, come eat dinner with my husband and I. And being that positive role model and being that person, even if you're not a family member, I think is what helps youth. Because like I said, every youth, they can come from horrible backgrounds and become amazing human beings. It helps to have that positive, loving human being, adult human being in their life. The CASA program is across the whole entire state, and it's amazing. It's adults who help youth and go to court to advocate for what the youth wants when they're involved, whether it's a child protective services case or a criminal case. They are there to advocate for that youth. And those adults too are very positive role models for these youth and helping and understanding what the youth want for their life. And maybe it's advocating because they want to live with one parent versus the other. Mm-hmm. They take that role on, and they take that role on seriously. I honestly think that parents need to realize that they can be the best parent in the world and their child can turn down the wrong path. But just because a child turns down the wrong path doesn't mean they're lost forever. Children can turn back around and start back on the right path. And sometimes, as hard as it is going into the juvenile justice system and doing time in juvenile justice, puts them back on that right path. I've met some amazing youth in our state who have made mistakes and now are striving to become the human being they want to be. So I think, one, all hope is not lost if your child's in juvenile justice, and two, don't feel like you did something wrong, because it's not necessarily that you did anything wrong. It's a matter of your child made a choice and they committed a crime.